Welcome back to the podcast, Decode Your Body. If you're new here, I'm your host, Tasha Miller. Now, if you've ever stood in your kitchen at 5 o'clock, staring at food you're technically allowed to eat, wondering which choice is going to punish you less, then this episode is for you. Because at some point, eating clean stopped feeling empowering and started feeling like a full-time job with no payoff. And no one really talks about that part. The more disciplined you get with food, the more confusing it feels when your body still doesn't cooperate. You've eliminated the usual suspects like bread, dairy, or anything fun, really, and you're following the clean eating script to a T. And instead of feeling better, you're bloated by noon. Maybe the brain fog has set in and you're not thinking as clearly as you'd like, and you're wondering what you did wrong this time. But here's the truth. If one small food can ruin your entire day, the food isn't the only problem. That's your body telling you that it hasn't been supported in the way it needs for a while now. And until you understand that state, every meal turns into a negotiation instead of nourishment. So in this episode, I'm going to show you why cutting more foods keeps you stuck and what actually needs to shift if you want your body to stop feeling like a ticking time bomb every day or every week. This isn't about restriction, it's about leadership. Welcome to the Decode Your Body podcast. I'm your host, Tasha Miller. For female entrepreneurs, time and attention matter. Managing symptoms that don't make sense costs both. You already know how to lead, and this is where that leadership extends to your health. You are the CEO of your body. Here's what most elimination diets miss. They treat food like it's the only problem instead of one piece of a bigger puzzle or system. And yes, food can be a part of the issue, but it's rarely just about the food, and it's almost never about what you ate today. Symptoms don't flare up consistently because of one bite of cheese or a piece of that dark chocolate. They show up when your body's been running in the same stressed out, imbalanced state for too long, and food becomes the match that you throw on a dry forest floor. And when that happens, food gets blamed even when it's possibly not the root cause. And somewhere along the way, you were taught to think of food as a behavior you had to control. Eating clean equals safe. Cravings equals bad. Bloating equals punishment. So the solution must be remove more, restrict more, try harder. A tomato can feel fine for weeks and suddenly leave you feeling kind of inflamed or like your intestines are burning. A green smoothie might give you energy one season and completely deplete you in another. And a small bowl of ice cream might feel like nothing, or today it feels like a brick in your stomach. So it's not just about what you ate, it's about what state your body is in and how long it's been operating there. Have you ever bought one of those cute lacy bras from Victoria's Secret? At first you feel like empowered and so feminine, but within an hour of wearing it, you're adjusting the straps, you're yanking at the cups because it just doesn't feel right. And by the end of the day, the lace is just rubbing, your shoulders are sore, and you're counting the minutes until you can rip it off. Well, the bra didn't suddenly become bad. It just wasn't the right thing for your body anymore or in that moment, or maybe it never was right for your body. And that's what it's like when your body's been out of sync for too long. Even small things like a slice of bread or a bowl of pasta can start to feel like they're too much. Not because the food is bad, but because your body wasn't in a place to handle it well. And if you don't know what's really going on underneath, you're going to keep blaming the food when your body is actually trying to get your attention. And that's when restriction becomes your only tool, not because it's actually working, but because it's the only lever or tool you've been handed. The only set of instructions that you've heard from the internet will just restrict more. So trying to fix symptoms without seeing the big picture is like trying to plan your week without looking at your calendar. You're guessing and wondering why things keep falling through the cracks. So here's the shift. You don't need more data. You need a way to interpret the signals your body is already sending. You need a way to understand what state your body is in and make food decisions based on that. Right now, you're trying to lead your body by taking things away, but the real skill is learning what your body is asking for before you default to restriction. How much fun is it to restrict all the time? It's not fun. And when you're constantly restricting, it's kind of like someone telling you that you can't do something. And you're like, yeah, you bet your boots I'm going to do something about this. And every time you have to restrict, it makes you want to eat that food even more. And it just becomes this battle in your mind. So this isn't a random flare-up, and it's probably not the first time that you've felt it when it comes to these symptoms. But it just keeps showing up in slightly different ways because the underlying pattern hasn't shifted. And if you don't know the pattern, it makes sense that you're going to blame the bread. But if you do, you'd realize that the same slice of bread can feel totally different depending on what your body can actually handle today versus next month. And you've obviously felt this before in other areas of your life. If you've been on your feet all day, all you want to do is come home and just put your feet up, right? But what if instead you came home after that long day and your legs and your feet are sore and you put on a pair of high heels to make supper and tidy the house? Well, the shoes aren't new. You've worn them before, so they're not the problem. But when your feet are already sore and inflamed, even a comfortable pair feels unbearable. So it's not about the shoes. It's about the strain your body was already under before you put them on. And that's how food works when your system is overloaded. Even a small thing can feel like too much. Your body doesn't need stricter rules and more restrictions. It just needs the right kind of support for the state that your body's already in. And once you understand what state or what pattern your body is in, food stops feeling like a threat. But until then, cutting more will always feel like the only option and will always leave you frustrated. One of my clients came to me after her third reset in 6 months. No gluten, no dairy, no alcohol. She was eating actually pretty clean. And she was eating all the right things, meal prepping, following a plan, saying no to bread, tracking everything. And still, she felt bloated by lunch, tired in the mid-afternoon. She had brain fog. She was a bit irritable. And she just didn't feel like herself. And she told me, I just want to eat supper with my family without feeling like food is the problem or making a separate plate or cutting everything out that I enjoy. So we took a step back and looked at everything together on paper, not just the food, how she was eating, what her day actually looked like, how her energy was being used throughout the day, and what never got replenished. And that's when things started to make sense. It wasn't about one food. And it wasn't about one moment. It was about the way her whole system had been running without the right kind of support. It's easy to think that you're doing everything right until you actually look further into the details. You know, when you get your weekly screen time report on your phone and you're shocked by how many hours actually went into Instagram, you didn't think that you were on your phone that much because it didn't feel like it. But when you zoom out and look at the big picture, it's so obvious. Well, her body wasn't reacting to one meal. It was flaring up because it hadn't been supported for quite a long time. And once we made a few key shifts to her routine and rhythm, her body started responding differently. Not because she was being perfect, but because the inputs finally matched what her system needed. And that's the part that really matters. It was never just about the food. Her body needed to be in a place that it could process it properly. And until that changed, no amount of eating clean was going to make a difference. You're already making smart decisions all day for your business, for your family, and for your future. But when it comes to your body, you're probably guessing, standing in front of the fridge, running through your mental checklist of what won't leave you bloated, having brain fog, or feeling tired by the afternoon, trying to eat clean enough to get through your day, trying to get ahead without losing your momentum. And the shift is, this isn't about cutting more or controlling everything perfectly. It's about learning how to lead your body the way you lead everything else, with actual data, with smart adjustments and a strategy that matches your real life. That's not just about food. It's the way your meals, your routines, your stress inputs all work together or they don't. And when those pieces finally start to fit together, you don't just feel better. You gain capacity in real, tangible ways, like you have more focus for your client work, more creativity for the offers that you've been sitting on that are sitting in file folders on your desktop, or more room to scale without your energy being the thing that holds you back, and the freedom to be present with your family without constantly thinking about what your body's going to do next or how tired you are. So this isn't about fixing your body. It's about finally giving it the structure to function really good so that you have more to give where it matters in your life. When your food, your schedule, and your workload are built around how your body actually functions, you stop working and managing your symptoms. And instead of planning your day around what your body might tolerate, you can lead your business with the clarity, energy, and capacity that it actually needs. So if you recognize yourself in this episode and it describes something you've been living with, but maybe you couldn't quite articulate, and you're tired of managing your body like a liability instead of it leading like the asset it is, Body CEO is where this work begins. It's not a single offer or a one-size-fits-all plan. It's how you start understanding how your body actually works so that you're not building your life and business on guesswork anymore. Because right now, it's not a lack of ambition holding you back. It's lost capacity. When your energy is unpredictable, your creativity, it just kind of goes poof. Your focus, it just fades and your drive gets interrupted. And that doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how you show up in your business, how clearly you lead, and how much momentum you're able to create. Body CEO is about rebuilding that capacity so that you can go all in on your work without sacrificing your health or your family. So the waitlist is open now. Joining is going to keep you connected. So when you're ready to start, you're guided to the right next step instead of trying to figure this out all on your own. You can join at tashamiller.co/waitlist. The link is also in the show notes. I cannot wait to welcome you into this next chapter where your body finally matches your ambition, how you want to perform, and you have the capacity to grow your business, serve more clients, and still have energy left for your husband and your kiddos. I will see you back here next week. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, tap follow and leave a 5-star review down below. I read every single one and it helps more women find this podcast. If you want to keep the conversation going, head to tashamiller.co for resources, offers, and all the ways to connect with me.